Hello and welcome to the DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series for your 8th race of the season here in Myrtle Beach. We head to South Carolina. As the season is starting to come to a close, we have only 2 more events after it, and both of them going to be tandem races with the Phillips Cup Series. So it should be fun. We have a couple of new drivers that are looking to debut today, and a couple of other drivers that are going to attempt in our next race at Bristol. However, for our championship hunt, it seems to be a one-car race as Heiden has a hefty lead over the rest of the field. Can they catch him today? Let's take a look at your starting grid. Alex Pedro is on point in the 36, followed by Anthony Lopez in his debut. Siron, Stringer, Sinclair, Duel, Wanderley, Mizrak, Hartmut, and Thanos make up the top 10. I saw Isaac Sinclair pull off track and head toward pit road. I think he has a problem on the start. Eric Heiden, your points leader, starts 11th, and you see the rest of the field. We come to the line, 30 laps of racing here today, and we are green. Pedro in the number 36, first time in the, well, this is his first season in the Regional Pro Cup Series. He was in the DASCAR Lights last year, but was unable to win a race and get a slot in the Regional Pro Cup Series, so he's back in that number 36 machine. He pulls into the race lead, Cooper Siron going for it. Wanderley from 7th up to 3rd. We head through turn 2. There's Sinclair back on track. I think they had a tire go down on the start, which is going to put a huge damper on his championship effort. And we got some contact in the back. Matt Duel, Adam Dunlap, Eric Heiden, your points leader. Oh my God, lap 2. We have something go terribly wrong for Heiden in the 52, and it's going to affect a lot of other cars, including Dunlap, who had such a good run last week. Matt Duel's on pit road in the 49. Oh man, that was some hefty contact with the inside wall. But we've got a path for the race lead. Gabriel Wanderley, after only 3 laps of racing, has gone to the race lead. Wanderley in the Rossman's machine, out of Brazil, made his first start in Iowa last week, had an okay performance, but ended up getting caught in a wreck that took him out of the event. But now, look at this, he's all the way up to the lead and starting to pull away from Alex Pedro. Pedro's starting to fall back. I wasn't sure if he just gave it up to Wanderley. It's not like he has much to lose. He's not going for a championship. But Wanderley in the race lead. Good job for him. He's going to try and outperform the rest of the field today as they shuffle for positions in the back. Coming to the line, here's Wanderley. Lopez up in 3rd place. Stringer in 4th. And Hartmut in the 3rd place position. Look at that. He's just pulling away. A lot of speed out of this number 0 machine. We take a look back at Eric Heiden in the 52, and he is outside of a points-paying position. We only award points for the top 10 in this series. However, his closest competitor, Isaac Sinclair, had trouble on the start, and he's even further behind. So Heiden's really not worried too much right now. The only threat he has is Oscarino, who is inside the top 10, but he's currently in a position to gain like a handful of points. Heiden does have 2 races to go. He can easily be caught up to, but right now he's not too worried. Here's Adam Dunlap back on track. He had to make a stop down pit road in his Skoda after some contact there. Almost won the race last week, and oh, something wrong with the 97. Oh, the IGN machine into the wall hard, and that's going to end his day. We're going to have to try and limp that off the racetrack. Dunlap, it looks like something went wrong with his axle. I think he had an axle break. He did make some heavy contact with the inside wall as Christian Mizrak in the 787. Been quiet all season long, but now he's trying to make some passes, going underneath the 79 of Stringer. Now Mizrak has run every race, but has not done particularly well. And because of this, he's basically lost the top 3 in points. He's got to do whatever he can to get up there, and that means basically win these next 3 events. It's going to be a tall order, but 787 Edix machine looking to go for it as, after passing Stringer, working their way on Lopez. There's Noah Oscarino in the 500, the Tic Tac machine, battling with a couple drivers near the tail end of the top 10. There's Sean Angel in the 37, the Canadian, and Nick Pericles, who was able to win earlier in the year. Car number 90 starting to creep close to the 500, trying to make a pass. They're having a little bit of an issue getting around each other today. It seems only a real powerhouse can pass around here, like we saw Wanderley and Mizrak doing. But look at this, Oscarino underneath. He's going to steal a spot from Sean Angel, and that's going to gain Oscarino some more points on the number 52. I have to give a big shout out to Anthony Lopez in the 09. This is his first career start in the Air Canada machine. And he's doing a great... Oh, look at that! That's Alex Pedro heading to pit road. I think he's got a tire down. We're getting a report. Yeah, he hit some debris from the Dunlap incident. So he goes from second to basically out of it. It's a shame for him. He had the pole and led the first couple of laps. But now Lopez is up to second. And Mizrak is running him down for third. Can Mizrak take the lead? Well, not the lead, but second place. And as you can see, Wanderley has just wandered off as he's just all the way up in first place. Mizrak trying underneath. Lopez starting to slide up the track. And Mizrak has found an opening. Mizrak seems to be the only car that can maybe compete with Wanderley. He just needs to get by all these quote-unquote slower cars. That's the pass for second place by Mizrak. As we hit the halfway point of this event, I wonder if it's too late. Alex Pedro back on track in the number 36. He's a lap off the pace right now, and I think he's just going to try and log some laps, see if he can do better next week in Bristol. It's a real shame for him. He had a really good car in qualifying, got the pole, and he was very confident with his race machine this weekend, but whatever Wanderley was doing in either in between sessions or maybe he was just saving his equipment, but Wanderley has just taken off from the field. But now Mizrak has to worry about this, because if Pedro decides to get a little racy, Mizrak might have a hard time catching the number 0. There hasn't been much lap traffic today, just Sinclair and Dunlap being some issues, but the 36 is not giving an inch, and you know, this actually kind of looks similar to what it was a couple laps ago. Mizrak coming up on the back of the 36, the only watch machine. Can Mizrak dispense of the 36? Now, Pedro was a quick car, so this is something that could trip Mizrak up. She finds an opening, decides to turn the 36 around. Pedro's not going to have none of that. Dive bombs the leader. Oh my god, Mizrak, one of the fastest cars on track, is now in the wall. Heavy damage to the 787. We got to get a replay of that. As Pedro, I'm not sure whose fault that was. So Pedro was not giving an inch. Mizrak decides to turn the 36. The 36 saves it and just rams into the 787 as a little bit of a flip the bird to Mizrak. So now two drivers that we thought had a good shot of the victory today are out of this one, and now Cooper Cyron, who qualified in the top 5 early on, back up in the top 5 again. This is a good effort for Cyron. Almost won last week in Iowa, but had some issues there. He's trying to catch up to Hartman in the 54, who's having a good run. Caitlin Stringer is in the 79, also running up near the top. Stringer has been good ever since she started in this series, about the halfway point of this schedule. And Noah Oscarino has picked off some cars. I think what we're getting at, he's running close to 6th place, which not too bad for Oscarino. He needs every point he can get, but there's a huge gap between he and the top group. And now that his teammate's out there, that does help the 500, but I would say this puts his teammate of Mizrak effectively out of the race. Here's the more important battle, though. This is the battle for points near the back. Now, there's D'Artagnius. He is, I believe he's in the 10th place position. Sean Angel's the car on the outside looking in. So D'Artagnius trying to hold off the rest of the pack, and we're going to take this moment to tell you about the DASCAR Phillips Cup Series, is having their dirt track event in Syracuse, New York. It is always an excellent event, and I suggest you check that out on the Tasman Dutch channel. They're going to be kicking up a lot of dirt. We did not go up to the track this year, but we are down here in Myrtle Beach. So be sure to check that out, and also check out more DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series content on this channel. Julian D'Artagnius Jr. still trying to make something work on Nick Pericles in the number 90, as Sean Angel starts to pace behind. Angel has really been kind of subdued all season long in the 37 ever since he started. Near the front, we had a pass for position. J.J. Hartman in car number 54 has gotten by Caitlin Stringer, and Hartman has been kind of kicked down the past couple of events. He had some really good runs in Richmond and in Iowa, but then just circumstances and wrecks that really weren't his fault took him out of the picture. He's got a bit of a gap to Lopez, and Lopez has an even bigger gap to Wanderley, who's about half the racetrack away from him. So, good finish for him, but we're going to look at the man of the hour, the zero of Gabriel Wanderley. The Brazilian has just been on fire today. No one has had anything for this number 0 machine that's at least still running on track. So, with only one lap to go, the Rossman's machine is going to just pace the field. Doesn't need to worry, no lap traffic ahead, no cars in sight behind him. He's all by himself on the back straightaway. Coming to the line, Gabriel Wanderley. The zero is going to be number 1 today. Wanderley wins here at Myrtle Beach. And this is an excellent win for him. He's one of the few drivers that is outside of the United States to win in this series. The only two I can believe are Fitzwater and Shelley. So congratulations to Gabriel Wanderley. Excellent performance, and one that will go down in the ages for this series. As our cars head back to pit road, we're going to take a look at what our final race results were today. And some of them are a little jarring. Wanderley out front. Lopez in his debut, second place, followed by J.J. Hartmut, Kalen Stringer, and Cooper Sauer running out the top 5. Noah Oscarino, not bad for him, 5 points for today. Logan York is going to get points on the board for the first time. We didn't talk about him much today, but he was also in his debut start. Paul Thanos in 8th, followed by Nick Pericles, and Sean Angel was actually going to get around Julian Dartinius Jr., take the 10th place position away. So good job for the Canadian driver. Take a look at the rest of the field. Dartinius in 11th, just outside of the points. Mizrak is going to be reduced to 12th place after a solid effort. Then it's Jerry Guerra, Eric Heiden, and Chris Dodd, the last cars in the lead lap. Dodd's been struggling in that 85 machine. Duel and Sinclair were 1 lap off the pace. Alex Pedro does get a point for leading a lap, but that's about it. And Adam Dunlap was the sole entry to retire after this event. Now we're going to go and take a look at our point standings, which still see Eric Heiden on top of the board, but Noah Oscarino has shortened that distance. He's now within 10 points striking distance, so that is 1 race away. Heiden should be a little worried. Sinclair is in 3rd. Then we have a couple of drivers that are no longer in the series. Nick Pericles is in 7th. And then we head all the way back down. Thanos and Mizrak rounding out your top 10. So, interesting point standings. It's basically a 3-car race up near the front, and only one driver could theoretically take the points lead next race. So next week, we're going to be heading to the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's going to be a tandem race with the Phillips Cup Series, and after that, we'll have the season finale in Charlotte. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.